Some people don't fail because they are incapable. They fail because they keep starting over. Emma had started more things than she could remember. A new goal always made her feel hopeful. But when the excitement disappeared, she quietly moved on. The next Monday, Emma promised herself this time would be different. She bought fresh paper, sharpened every pencil, and wrote one sentence at the top of a new notebook. "This time I won't quit." For a few days, she felt unstoppable. Then she tried drawing something difficult. It looked terrible. Emma closed the notebook and left her apartment. She walked through a narrow street under the rain, looking for nothing in particular. Then she noticed a tiny bookstore between two old buildings. A wooden sign above the door read, "Books for Patient People." For some reason, Emma stepped inside. The shop smelled of old paper and cedarwood. Behind the counter sat an elderly man with silver hair and round brass glasses. He looked at Emma for a moment. Then he said, "You look like someone who has started something today." Emma froze. "How would you know?" The old man smiled. "People who finish things walk differently." Elias reached beneath the counter and pulled out an old brown notebook. Its cover was scratched, and its pages were yellow with age. He placed it in front of Emma. On the first page were 3 words, "Finish this one." Emma smiled. But when she turned the pages, she saw something strange. Every beautiful drawing, story, and letter inside had been left unfinished. Emma looked at Elias. "Who made this?" He closed the notebook gently. "People who were very good at beginning." Emma didn't understand. So Elias gave her one simple rule. "Take it home. Finish the first page. What if it's bad? Finish it." Elias smiled. Especially then. That night, Emma opened the notebook. She started drawing. But the picture looked terrible. The proportions were wrong. The face was uneven. She wanted to tear the page out. Then she remembered Elias. "Finish it." So Emma picked up her pencil again. The next morning, Emma looked at the finished drawing. It was still bad. But it was finished. For the first time, she had completed something she didn't love. And somehow, that felt like progress. She opened a fresh page and started again. For 2 weeks, Emma kept drawing. Some pages were good. Some were embarrassing. But she finished every one. Then one morning, she saw an advertisement for a new art program. Promised faster results, better techniques, a shortcut to success. Emma stared at the screen, and suddenly, the old temptation returned. Emma bought the course. For 3 days, everything felt exciting again. Then the lessons became difficult. The excitement disappeared. Emma stared at the screen and felt the familiar urge to quit. But this time, she looked at her old notebook, and she finally understood. Emma looked at the unfinished drawing from weeks ago. Then she looked at the new course. The problem had never been the method. It had never been the notebook. She had been addicted to beginnings because beginnings made her feel talented. But the difficult middle demanded something different. It demanded that she stay. From that day on, Emma stopped searching for the perfect method. She worked for 1 hour every morning, even when she felt inspired, especially when she didn't. Some days were terrible. Some days were beautiful, but she stayed. Weeks slowly became months, and without noticing it, Emma began to change. Months later, Emma opened an old folder on her computer. Inside was her very first drawing. She placed it beside her newest work. The difference was enormous. Emma stared at both pages and smiled. She hadn't become better overnight. She had simply stopped interrupting her own progress. Months later, Emma returned to the little bookstore. The rain had stopped. Elias was still behind the counter. Emma placed the brown notebook in front of him. Every page was filled. Every page was finished. Elias slowly opened it and smiled. Emma looked at Elias. What was this notebook really for? Elias closed it gently. It was never meant to teach you how to draw. Emma waited. It was meant to show you what you do when something stops being easy. Emma looked down at the finished pages. For years, she thought she was searching for the right path. Now she realized she had been running from the difficult middle. She opened the final page. There was one sentence written there. The life you want may be waiting on the page you keep abandoning. Emma read it twice. Then she closed the notebook. This time, she didn't look for a new beginning. Emma walked home through the quiet morning streets. She wasn't excited. She wasn't chasing a new plan. She simply knew what she had to do. The next morning, she sat at her desk, opened her notebook, and continued. Maybe that's what you've been doing too. Starting again every time progress becomes uncomfortable. Changing the plan when the excitement disappears. Thinking the next beginning will finally make things easier. But sometimes you don't need a new path. You need to stay on the one you already chose. The hardest part was never starting. It was staying when nobody was clapping, when progress was slow, when the work felt ordinary, when you couldn't see the result yet. That was the part Emma had been running from all along. You don't always need a better plan. Sometimes you need to give the plan you already have enough time to work. Because the life you want may not be waiting for a new beginning. It may be waiting on the page you keep abandoning. The next morning, Emma woke up with another idea. But this time, she didn't abandon the old one. She sat at her desk, opened her notebook, and kept going. Because she had finally learned the difference between starting over and moving forward.